Hello everybody, how is it going? And welcome to another episode of Drives in the Axe-Fx 3. Today we are going to be checking out a really cool pedal that's actually just come to the Axe-Fx 3 as of firmware number 13 beta, and that is going to be the Horizon Devices Precision Drive. This is actually a really cool pedal. It was designed by the guitarist in Periphery, which is Mr. Misha Mansour. He has an Axe-Fx, used it on a bunch of his albums. It is kind of like a tube screamer, but it's sort of remixed and kind of has its own little flavor, and it has some cool little features in it. So let's check it out really quick. So on the real pedal itself, we have all of the same controls as we do in the Axe-Fx. So you have attack, you have volume, you have brightness, and you have a gate. The gate is going to be right here in the middle. Obviously, we don't have that in the Axe-Fx itself. It's drive. I'm sorry, this is drive. This is not the gate. The gate is right here. This is drive, and it's bright and volume and attack. We have attack and bright in the Axe-Fx, and what's sort of cool, so the drive block was recently redesigned in this firmware. And if you come down to advanced, we have this bass response right here, and the bass response, as you can see, is the same numbers as the attack. So the attack and the bass response are kind of tied together. So that's sort of what the bass response is, and you can have that in all of the pedals. So it's kind of an attack knob basically. And you also have the bright switch right here. So it is very common controls that you see on most overdrive pedals. Just the attack and the bright are kind of broken up in the tone wise, because you know, like on your typical 808, you just have like a tone knob that you turn. So this is sort of like the tone knob broken into two separate parts. Now let me talk about the amps and the IR I'm using. So I'm using the Soldano SLO 100, or as I call it sometimes, the slow 100 amp, and I'm using Get Good Drums Zilla's IR. It's the oversized 412 with a V30 in it from the UK with an SM57 on it. These are some of my settings that I have for it, just to give you a little idea of how I'm using it. That's really it. We're going into the SLO and we're using the Precision Drive. Let me actually let you hear what it sounds like with the drive actually off. So, I know I'm using the SLO 100, and on the real life Soldano, a lot of people don't like to use a drive on it, but I know this isn't a real analog amp, this is the digital realm, and I like putting a drive on here. I especially like the Precision Drive. I find it cuts a little bit of a low end. It's not too great of a cut, which you kind of really don't want a massive cut, so I kind of have the bass right here. I was kind of fighting with it on jacking it up to where it doesn't sound super thin, and I like the attack knob. Now you kind of have to be careful when you put the Precision Drive on, because they make things a little bit bright. So I had my presence knob, I think it was up like around 7 or so, so I lowered both of my presence and my treble on my amp block to kind of compensate for it, and I'll push the bright knob and I'll let you hear what that does. By the way, guitar I'm using is a Tom Anderson Cobra S with the HC1 in the neck and the HC3 in the bridge, and those are Tom Anderson's own pickups. So let's push the Precision Drive and let's see what that sounds like. as you can hear, things can get rather chewy. I like to leave the attack right on there. The bright, I literally left it on the default setting, like right there. The level, I left the level on 6. I typically like to leave your level around in between, you know, 5, 6, maybe sometimes 7. Let's see what it sounds like if we jack it all the way up. Hopefully this doesn't blow everyone's ears out. I like the level knob in here. It doesn't seem to really push it super hard. It seems like it kind of levels out, and it doesn't really affect the sound. To my ear, sitting in my setup right here, it doesn't really affect the sound all that much. And you can actually go in here and explore. So this is the default settings that it's set at in here. You got your diodes in here. I typically don't mess with anything. Like I said, the bass response is the only thing that's been messed with since it's tied to the attack knob. And guys, I think that is really going to wrap things up for the Precision Drive. It's really cool. I'm glad that this is in the Axe-Fx because the real life pedal is actually really good. It affects tone really well whenever you put it in front of amp. A lot of my friends have it. I had a chance to get one. I kind of want to get an analog one and test it out between the one in here and the analog one. I had a chance to get one, but the guy I was talking to, his friend, ended up buying it. But I really like this drive. Like, oh, one more thing before we go. I'm gonna compare it to the Fast Boost and to the 808 real quick. As you can see, it has its own particular little flavor there when you're going from an 808 to the Precision Drive. The Precision Drive tends to be run a little bit brighter to me, but I guess it's because of the attack knob, and it sounds like it actually affects a different set of mids as opposed to the normal 808 2 Screamer. Alright guys, that is going to wrap things up for the Precision Drive in the Axe-Fx 3. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of it? Do you own it in real life? Do you think it's a pretty cool pedal? Guys, if you haven't done it already, make sure you subscribe because we go over a lot of cool stuff here. We go over the drives in the Axe-Fx 3, we go over the amps. I do a lot of cool stuff here, and I really don't want you to miss any of that. If you thought this video was cool, leave me a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to have to be out. Peace.